Yeah. What up, good people, and welcome to another episode of Keep It Thorough, where we give you the real behind business, health, money, and self development, and introduce engaging concepts to help you elevate your performance in all areas of life. I'm your host, Cedric Lavelle, joined by my counterpart, E Double.
Yes, sir. It's your boy E Double. We back at y'all again. Season 3, episode 106. And the title of today's episode is Health and Hustle Tips for Finding Wellness and Work Life Balance. Very important topic, something that's near and dear to me, and something that I definitely struggle with at times. So, as always, be sure to check out the kit that corresponds to this episode at keepitthorough.com/kits. And, podcast with us wherever you podcast. As always, we got the hats on there. And, we soon to probably add a couple more pieces of merch on there for y'all. But with all that being said, let's go and kick this thing off.
Let's get into it, man. So here's the real. In a world where success is often glorified at the expense of well being, um, finding balance just becomes like a daring adventure. Um, there's so many different challenges that we often deal with on a day to day basis. There's so many different uncertainties. There's so many different responsibilities that require our attention, and being able to have balance is a challenge, whether it's splitting time with family, friends, making time for yourself, making time for your own entrepreneurial endeavors. But we're just constantly juggling our ambitions, our responsibilities, and then just overall the modern pace of life and everything that entails with that. And so, as E was just saying, with him, struggling with in that area, finding a sense of balance or harmony has to become a non-negotiable, right? When it as it relates to just your health and how you hustle, there has to be a almost like a companionship. They have to complement each other in a way, right? Because if you don't, what happens is burnout, stress, exhaustion, all of those things, and that's not a badge of honor to say, I'm grinding so hard that I'm exhausted. Nah, it makes me some things that you need to change up, right? And so understand that, a lot of times you get the warnings. Your body's going to tell you when things need to change up and we need to switch up. And so the question just becomes, how can you navigate? What are some of the things that you can do? Because ultimately, the a healthy mind and a healthy body are both valuable assets in our pursuit of success. You know what I'm saying? And when we prioritize self care, we're not only just enhancing our performance, but we're also future proofing our success. And so it's about just investing yourself into um, being better, right? Because ultimately, in order for you to achieve your goals, you really want to make certain again that your health and your hustle have the perfect marriage.
And in that vein, right, we're talking about juggling personal and professional. Your boy just had to hit mute because my 2-year-old screaming in the background, right?
Hey man, it's it's
So
it's,
that's one
it's
of
the
the,
hustle, dog.
this is really,
This
prime
is
time example, of the stuff that we deal with,
absolutely
right? Because this is, professional things. I don't really look at this as a job, but at the same time, I wouldn't categorize this as personal. You know what I mean? This
right.
is more of a professional thing. But anyway, with all that said, right, the work life seesaw, right? It's a balancing act. So, almost everyone has two facets of their existence. Some people might got three or four, depending on the life you leading. But you know what I mean. We ain't gonna get into that. But almost everyone has two facets of their existence. You got your work and your personal lives, and both of these things coexisting in harmony, are essential to our overall well-being. And said kind of touched on that a little bit, right? And an imbalance in either direction can lead to stress, unhappiness, and even health problems. So,
Absolutely.
when work takes precedence over everything else, our personal lives and health are often neglected, right? And then conversely, an overemphasis on personal life can lead to, decreased productivity and career stagnation. We all heard the saying, you got to work hard to play hard. If you just out here playing hard all the time, then, what I mean, you're not going to be able to play too much longer, you know?
Right.
So it's about that balance, right? But now, however, achieving work life balance doesn't mean you need an equal split between your professional and personal life, right? So balance does not mean equal, right? Rather, it's about finding a rhythm that enables you to maintain your career trajectory while enjoying personal growth and maintaining good health. So like a seesaw, life often shifts, requiring adjustments to keep it stable. So achieving work life balance means, maintaining stability even when life teeters. And
Right.
it's very important to I think take into account that point about balance, and that not meaning equal, right? Now, if you start veering over to the left of that seesaw, right, then it ain't gonna be balanced no more, and then the right side gonna start kind of coming up. So then you kind of got to move back towards the right, you know, and then get a little bit more balance, and then you may start to drift towards the right, right, and just look at that as personal and professional. And everybody's different. Some people, um, you know, they need those constant, challenges and um what's a word that I can use? I guess wins and growth in the professional area, which puts them in a good mindset, you know what I mean, in a mind state, and helps them feel productive and happy and positive. Some people need more family time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Every person is different. Everybody's, happy life gumbo is going to consist of different ingredients. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So whatever works for you, it's just about finding that rhythm, and then trying to maintain it to the best of your ability. We're all humans. We're gonna, it's gonna be off balance sometime, but we've said this a million times. It's not about what happens sometimes, but about what you do all the time or most of the time, right? So
Right.
you want to be in balance most of the time. We all gonna go through those challenges where it's gonna teeter a little bit.
Absolutely. And man, it like you said, man, it's really just about finding that rhythm, and I think what has to happen on a day-to-day basis, that you always have to do an assessment. And I know I do this a lot, and I've kind of gotten to a point now where I don't really look at it as a big deal to me, because I would change up my schedule. I would look at my week, how I'm going about doing things, always doing an assessment, and I'm changing things. I'm seeing where I can put more time here, more time there, and switching things up, where I can find more balance here, where I can find this rhythm. And I got to a point where I started to understand that this is natural, right? You're always looking to find ways to be the most efficient. How can you be the most effective in what you're doing? Because that's ultimately the goal. How can I be the most efficient? How can I be effective within this process? If one time isn't working for me to do this, let me switch up and do this. But just take into account everything that you do on a day-to-day basis, and just finding little pockets out of your day to see how you can manage your time. That goes a long way, right? Because dream chasing can ultimately lead to a nightmare. You know what I'm saying? While you're out there chasing your dreams and you're out there looking to get those big wins, when things aren't, um, what I'm saying, kind of synchronized, or functioning in a way where there's some sort of balance, that's where you start to see things like chronic stress. That's when you start to experience things like diminished productivity or personal life sacrifices, right? Those three things in itself can be significantly influential on your growth and your development. If you're experiencing chronic stress, a lot of times those pressures, when they begin to mount on you and the demands of success begin to weigh you down, it's hard to even get through, right? Because that success and that drive and that want for something can be so heavy, it slows you down. You know what I'm saying? And so you want to just be mindful of those things and recognize the signs and start implementing stress management practices and techniques and things like that to kind of get you back in sync, recalibrate. A lot of times it's necessary. It's necessary to do those things, recalibrate, because you can transform stress into an ally. And I think we've done an episode on this as well too. I can't remember. It was it you stress
Yeah,
was
yeah,
was
yeah.
the word, how certain stresses
The
can really
positive,
motivate you.
eustress and distress,
Right,
and how
right. So
eustress is positive,
so
positive stress.
understanding how you can take that stress and make it a positive for you can be impactful as it relates to your growth and as it relates to your contributions towards your own success. And then, like I said, with diminished productivity, constant work without taking those breaks, that's going to drain you. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to drain you physically. It's going to drain you mentally, and that's going to result to work that's not complete or work that's not your best. And productivity isn't just about working hard; it's about working smart. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to work smart. You want to be able to do things that are going to net you some positive gains. So you definitely want to incorporate breaks. You definitely want to set boundaries. And then just in order to tap into your creative flow, you have to just be able to find that place of calmness to a degree where your world doesn't seem like it's in a whirlwind. You know what I'm saying? Where it doesn't seem like everything is just out of sync and out of order, and you can't get back on track to finding your way towards the goals and whatever it is that you're trying to reach. And then when it comes to just your personal life sacrifices, obviously everything has some sort of give and take. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost impossible to put forth time in one area without it affecting another part of your life. You know what I'm saying? You may have more, like he was saying, you may spend more time with your family, and then with you spending time with the family, you don't have enough time to focus on your entrepreneurial endeavors, or vice versa, right? And so, like he was saying, it's not about having that 50-50 split. It's just about harmony, finding the harmony, finding a rhythm where everyone is satisfied, but also I would say just being transparent. I know with me, my wife knows everything that I have going on, personally, professionally, physically, what my goals are, what my dreams are, what my aspirations are, the time that I'm putting in to do X, Y, and Z. We communicate, right? And so I think that's a necessary component to success as well too. Communicate with the people that's in your circle, communicate with the people that's close to you, communicate with your loved ones, so on and so forth. Because when you do that, that just creates a better sense of understanding for everybody. And that way, when you're investing time in something else, people know what's going on, and they can see the big picture at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
You know, for sure. So obviously, we've talked about like the work life seesaw. You've heard me like refer to it as like the juggling act, right? or balancing act, kind of however you want to say it, or whatever analogy or metaphor you want to use. But so many individuals face those challenges, right? Or the challenge of balancing, your health and your career aspirations. It's not something that's just reserved for a few. I think everybody, no matter how successful or unsuccessful, no matter how much money you make, whatever the case may be, whatever your income level, whatever the case may be, everybody deals with this. And with crazy work schedules, deadlines, and responsibilities, it's easy to sideline your personal well-being, and yet neglecting health can lead to burnout, decreased productivity and compromise long-term success, which is really counterproductive, right? So finding equilibrium is paramount. It involves prioritizing self-care through, regular exercise, proper nutrition, adequate sleep, which I'm a big advocate of, and stress management techniques. And said mentioned, the stress, the importance of finding and incorporating, stress management techniques, by nurturing both physical and mental health alongside career ambitions. Individuals can sustain peak performance, resilience, and overall satisfaction in both professional and personal realms. And striking this balance ensures longevity, which is extremely important, and then fulfillment in the face of all of your pressures. And that's really what you should be striving for, right? Which is balance, right? You want longevity, you want to be able to do whatever you're doing for an extended period of time, and you want to live a long life, and then you want fulfillment. So you want to be happy and fulfilled with the things that you're doing. You don't just want to do it for a long time and be miserable, or you
Yeah.
don't want to, you know, do it for a short amount of time and be super happy. You know what I mean? Like you want both of those. You know, you want to do it for a long time and be happy. You know, while you're doing it, I think a good example that we can give is, and I think most people can relate to this, is how many of us, you know, we've been working, ain't took no PTO in a long time, and then we go on like a vacation, right?
Yeah.
You go on a vacation, you spend some times with either your friends, or maybe it was your loved ones, or whatever the case may be, and you like, man, I needed this. You know what I'm saying? Like it puts you in a place of peace. You kind of thinking straight, and now you're like planning, like, okay, when I get back, I'm about to do this, 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 and this. Like this that motivated me. You know, you're in a different headspace. Like that's shows you the importance of balance, right?
Right.
Because once you get an opportunity to step outside of your element, step outside of your normal day-to-day routine, and really kind of get like a bird's eye view, you're able to kind of refocus and see things clearly. And then you're like, okay, maybe I need to cut this out, maybe I need to incorporate this, maybe I need to spend a little less time doing this, maybe a little more time doing this. And you're like, okay, I need to do whatever I need to do to continue to feel like this, like I'm happy,
Yeah.
this is where I want to be. So what do I need to do so that I can enjoy these moments more frequently? You know what I mean? And I think most people can relate to that, because we've all, been in that situation. And the reality is, if you really, you know, take the necessary steps, take accountability and really put these things in motion, those moments can come more frequently, and they don't
Yeah.
have to be so far and in between. You know what I mean? So again, it's a juggling act. Um, I think it's something that we'll continue to deal with and try to get better at, for the entirety of our lives.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
we definitely want to continue to make adjustments to try to find that balance and that harmony. Um, because at the end of the day, it leads to us, living the more fulfilling life.
Absolutely. That's big, man. And what you said at the end, I think makes perfect sense. And just really understanding that finding that balance and harmony is going to be ongoing. It's continuous. It's never going to stop. Because as you continue to learn more, as you continue to develop more, as you continue to grow more, as you continue to have more responsibilities that you have to start incorporating into your day, you know what I'm saying? You have a kid, you get married, kids go off to school, right? You start training for a new job or a new career path, right? Your kids get older, they have all these different things that they want to participate in at school. You're trying to have your own life. Like there's so many things that you have to try and balance and find some sort of harmony to. And it's a constant struggle. It's a constant challenge. And that's just the reality of it, right? Like I said earlier, man, there's going to be times where, certain people may feel neglected, right? Because you're spending so much time or prioritizing time with your career, with your immediate family, that your extended family may not see you. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, when it comes to just the heart, well, the health, and then just the overall hustle, man, it comes with some sacrifices, right? And I think that's one of the biggest things that has to be understood. There's going to be some sacrifices that's going to have to take place, and you have to be very unapologetic with how you sacrifice and where you spend your time. You know what I'm saying? But then ultimately, I would say having strategies that you continuously utilize and that you put at the forefront of your mind will help you get there much faster and stay in a space where you're consistently progressing as you pursue your personal and your professional endeavors, right? So doing things like setting boundaries, prioritizing your health, as we were saying, proper time management techniques, seeking help when needed, or even just unplugging to a degree, like E was saying. All of those things help, right? And so, like with achieving work life balance, it's going to require setting clear boundaries just to protect your rest, your rejuvenation time, and then just effectively saying no um, works in the long run, because now you don't have to do things that you don't want to do, right? I think a lot of times people overexert themselves or overextend themselves by always saying yes. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say that you don't have the time, or you don't have the time right now. You can do it later, whatever the case may be, but get comfortable with saying no, right? And then ultimately, you want to prioritize your health, and doing that through regular exercise, a balanced diet, sufficient sleep, and then just relaxation activities is crucial, right? Because it's a direct correlation to how you perform and how you produce. You know what I'm saying? So really finding a way to incorporate the proper habits and things that you need to do, that also goes a long way. And then just efficient time management. That's essential to being able to balance your work duties with your professional life and your relaxation. Time management. Obviously, everybody's on the clock every day. You know what I'm saying? No matter what the case may be, something is always time oriented surrounding your day. So the better that you get with your time management, the better that you can see your wins, and see your vision begin to manifest, right? And then being able to seek help, right? When there's a challenge that you're dealing with, or when there's something that you're going through, being able to reach out and ask a person, hey man, can you help me here? Hey, can you do X, Y, and Z for me? If you're married, asking your spouse, hey, I want to do this, that, and the other. Do you mind picking up the kids at this time or on this day, so I'm able to put more time into this? You know what I'm saying? And if you have that type of relationship with your spouse or with people that's in your circle, that goes a long way, right? Using productivity tools, or if you're an entrepreneur or a business person, if you can afford it, hire an assistant. You know what I'm saying? Not feeling like you have to do everything yourself. Being able to delegate, I feel, is a key driver for success. You know what I'm saying? And so understanding that aspect of pursuing your endeavors goes a long way. And then, like I said, being able to unplug, right? From your phone, from the TV, whatever the case may be, and getting out and just enjoying life, right? Having that time where you just kind of disconnect, finding that moment where you can really focus your attention on your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, where your life is, where you want to go, where you're at right now, and what needs to change. All of those things, you have to take that time to unplug, whether it's on a vacation, whether you're going on a walk, whatever the case may be. Find that time. If you do those things, I feel that in the end you can find that harmony and find that balance that's going to allow you to, again, pursue the endeavors that you want personally and professionally.
No, for sure, man. So you take those practical steps, you can make a difference in your life, and then you can go from exhaustion to exuberance.
Yeah, I like that. Exhaustion to exuberant.
Right. But so yeah, man. So in summary, you know, I mentioned earlier about, finding equilibrium, right? And we've heard, everybody's heard that word before, right? Like, you got an ear infection, your equilibrium's off, you ain't got your
Hmm.
balance, whatever the case may be. But, finding equilibrium between your health and hustle is more than a task, right? It's a journey, and a lifelong journey. So, balance really isn't a destination, as much as it is, um, directions. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If that makes sense, right? Like, you're never gonna get to that final destination. You're gonna content, but you want to make sure that you're heading the right
Right
direction and on the
direction.
right path, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So hopefully that makes sense. But the road may not always be smooth on that path. Okay, I was able to just tie it together. There we go. So the road
You
may
did,
not
bro.
always be smooth.
I was following you,
Yeah,
dog.
yeah, right. So it may not always be smooth, but taking steps to keep health and hustle at parity can make a significant difference in how you execute your life. So, while professional success is vital, and people like myself and said, very driven, hard working, high performing individuals, professional success is pivotal to
Yeah,
us. You know what I
absolutely,
mean?
dog.
Like, I have
Absolutely.
to not just speak it, but show it and lead by example to, my peers as well as my children, my family, you know, my loved ones, everything, right? It's very
Right.
important for me to leave behind and lead a legacy, right?
Yeah.
Go check
We
out
did an
earlier
episode on that
episodes
as
on
well
that.
too. You know what I'm
But
saying?
it should never come at the cost of your health, though, right? So, no matter how driven you are, and we all got to take breaks. We all
Yeah.
have to, unplug, disconnect, recharge the batteries. Very, very important. And then, you must prioritize your well-being as much as you prioritize your work. And you will find that success isn't just about the hustle, it's also about the quality of life you maintain along the journey.
Man.
So again, that goes back to what I said earlier about longevity and fulfillment. You want to want to be able to continue to perform at a high level without the burnout, and with the fulfillment, with the happiness, with the
Yeah.
enjoyment. Because who wants to make all of this money and work super hard and be miserable? Like, no, I don't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's where we get into the whole, money isn't everything, right?
Right.
Because I don't need to have the most money in the world when I'm miserable, right?
It
I
ain't
I, I
gonna make
want to
you
be
happy.
the most amount of happy with the most amount of money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
balance. You know what I mean? And again, there's no way that you can put happiness and money on the scale. So it's not about a 50-50 split. It's just about
Mm-hmm.
creating what works for you, right? Having the right
Right.
amount of money to finance and fund your lifestyle and the things that you like to do. Some people love to travel. Some people like material things. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is you enjoy, just being able to maintain that and be happy with that over an extended period of time, right? Which at the end of the day is your life, over the course of your
Yeah.
life. So there you have it, man. Health and hustle.
Major
Uh
key.
Very important to have both. Anything you want to add, said?
Nah, oh, you know what? I did like something that you said, man, when you was talking about going the right direction but not reaching the destination. And I think that's a very important key to success. You may never reach the destination, but you always want to make certain that you're moving in the right direction. Because whenever there is the time where you transition and move on, if you're leading a legacy and you're leading in the right direction, your footprints or your clues that you left, somebody's going to pick off on. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's going to pick that up and they're going to move towards the destination that you were pursuing, right? And so I feel like that's an important key, man. Like you won't reach the destination all the time. And you may not ever. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay, but ultimately you just want to be moving in the right direction, leading in the right direction, right? And so your offspring or the people who are attached to you, people who follow you can pick up on those clues, carry the baton and then move the right direction as well. But that was it,
No,
man.
no, no. That's crazy, man. And that actually, I'm gonna end on this. That reminded me of a quote that I seen before, and that I posted. I don't know who said it, but the quote was, "My biggest fear is that I'll never reach my full potential." Right, and that's heavy for me, right? Because damn, that's real. And
Right.
the more I think about that quote, it's like if you live your life day by day with that mindset, once you pass, you will have reached your full potential, right?
Yeah.
Because you gave it all. Like when it comes to sports, the analogy, left it all on the floor. You know what I mean? Or you left it all on the field. You know what I mean? There was nothing left to give. And then you can live with the results, right?
Right.
Win, lose, or draw. I gave it all I could, right? And then to Said's point, you didn't quote unquote reach the destination, but you reached your full potential and created or left behind those footprints or those clues or that map
That
for
map,
your
yeah.
children to pick up from and continue on. And
Yeah.
then, that's really all you can ask for,
Yeah.
you
That's major,
to
man.
make it where we're not starting over, where they're
Right.
starting over. We want to give them as big of a head start as possible, right?
Yeah.
Um,
It's
so
like
yeah,
this ongoing relay race.
yeah, yeah. Seriously,
4x1. Like I
and
give you
that's
the
how you should
baton,
that's how you should look at your
and
last name.
yeah,
That's why your last name is more important than your first name. You want to make sure
absolutely.
that your generation and generation and generations, it's a baton. You passing that
Keep
baton.
keep keep
And
passing the baton.
some runners are faster than others, right?
Right.
So one generation might get out the gates. You know what I'm saying? Another one
Yeah.
might slow down a little bit, but then the second one, boom.
Boom.
But
Yeah.
yes, it's
That's
a
major.
an infinite relay race.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But hey, man, with
Absolutely.
all that being said, we greatly appreciate y'all as always. Everybody who tap in, tune in, who watch, listen, read, share, like. I don't know if I said like already, but
You didn't.
we
You just did though.
yeah, right. We greatly appreciate y'all. We gonna keep
Absolutely.
coming with the dope content. I'm gonna say something that boy Joe Budden said on his podcast, man. A lot of y'all didn't disappear. You know what I'm saying? My man was like, it's February, and he said $1 million worth of game ain't dropping no podcast episodes. He was like, who else, man? He got the listing off all these podcasts, and I'm like, damn, I didn't even realize that. Like, we are
Yeah.
2 months in the year, and I mean, where y'all at? So,
What's
hey, we
going
gonna be
on?
consistent forever. You know what I
Absolutely,
mean? And to
man.
be honest with you, that's gonna be our biggest win. You know what I mean? And that's gonna be what separates us is the quality and the consistency at
Quality
which
and
at which we
consistency,
do this
man.
here. I actually had somebody. I hope she don't take this the wrong way if she listens to this episode. Ain't no dig at all. But somebody that I go to Mayweather with, and she does a podcast, and I didn't even realize. But she was like, they hadn't did an episode in like 11 months.
Yeah.
And then she was like, man, I can't go 12 months without doing an episode. So like they ended up getting the episode out. And she's like, man, we back at it. And I was like, that's what's up, man. I was like, that's the hardest thing, which we talk about all the time, is consistency. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So shout out to her and keep it going. You know what I'm saying? But with all that said, man, y'all know how it go. If you don't do nothing else, keep it thorough.
Keep it thorough.
And we'll holler at y'all next time.
Yes,
Deuces.
sir.